right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for today's ICONversations, where we get to welcome in 5 amazing ICON agents here with EXP to open the door, pull back the curtain, let us into the tricks and tips of how they have become the successes that they are. I would like to welcome Alan, John, Vishal, Damien, and Debbie. Debbie's going to be our moderator today. So Debbie, I'm going to pass it off on to you.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you for all you do to get this ready for all of us agents at EXP. So welcome, everybody. I'm so happy that you're here today. I will tell you that I remember coming to ICONversations before they even called it ICONversations. And I am an eight-time ICON agent. And I will tell you that it really takes a lot to become an icon. But it's nothing that all of you can't do. And I really mean that. And I think that these people up here are so special because I've given them a list of questions and they're going to answer them and they will help you grow your business. And that's what we are all about here at EXP. So I'd like to start. Well, I'll start with Damien since I know Damien out of all of you. Damien, if you could just give us just a brief little synopsis of who you are, where you're from, and just a really short thing, and we'll just move down the line.
Right. A lot to unpack here, so I'll make it really super quick. Damien Forrester, originally from Brooklyn, New York. I am now in Montana, Billings, Montana. 6-time icon, veteran, lover of advocating and coaching and training others to help be successful. Like I said, I'm going to keep it really short, but that's me.
Wonderful. How about Vishal?
Hi, I am from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. I am a 3-time ICON agent with EXP. I'm for the last 3 years. Every time I hit the icon, I'm in real estate for almost 6 years, and I have done close to 462 transactions so far.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Alan, how about you?
Hi, everybody. My name is Alan Grulick. I'm a realtor here in San Antonio, Texas, and in South Texas. Before being a realtor, I was a teacher for 8 years, a public school teacher here in San Antonio. And I've been in real estate here for 9 years. And I hit ICON for the first time here in December of last year. And so anybody who's new here, I'm definitely looking forward to being a part of this because I feel like it was just yesterday that I was a new agent. So happy to be here and thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. And has John showed up? I don't know if he's like coming in from some other forum, not on stage. Is he here yet? Okay, well, then we're just going to get started with the questions. And Alan, you know what? It is so true that, people don't realize what it takes to become an ICON agent and seeing how you're newer, not new agent, but newer to this whole thing. I'm going to start with you. So can you tell me what lead generation system has been the most effective for you in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate that. And the one thing I did want to say, especially if you're newer to real estate, if you could take one nugget away from any of these icons on stage, because it's an honor for me personally to be here. And if you could just take one thing and implement it, you're going to be a step ahead. So for those of you that showed up today, I really thank you for being here and investing your time. But I would definitely encourage you to just take something away from you, no matter from who it is. And just to address the question, I appreciate that too. So what I try to do every single day is I want at least 5 contacts. So every single day I write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I want to make sure that I'm having some sort of meaningful conversation with somebody, either my sphere of influence or, I call expired leads. I do that, or, maybe it's through social media. But I want to touch, and that could be a phone call, a text, email. Sometimes if I'm really, really busy, I'll be honest, it could be a text message. But it's something that's going to move the ball forward for you every single day. So that's kind of what I do is usually 5 touches. Now I'm trying to get 7 if I can per day.
Wonderful. Damien, you're up next, man.
Oh, my apologies. My mic keeps going. Okay. Hey, well, welcome everyone. And thank you so much for having me here. So to answer this question straight up, it's my past clients. most recently, probably maybe about 2 years ago now, I listened to Elizabeth Riley. Many of you guys know Elizabeth Riley, and I really doubled down on my sphere of influence as well as my past clients. And that has really gained a lot of traction for me in the last 2 years. Not only to doubling down on that, but showing how much I have to give to them in the sense of providing information that I know that they're going to need just locally. Not just only talking about what things are going on in the stats of real estate, but what's going on in the community locally. I'm going to begin starting a podcast for a certain area in town, but giving information that is valuable to them, that's going to help them make the right decisions in focusing on whether they're really ready to buy or sell real estate as an investor, or upsizing or downsizing. So really focusing on my sphere of influence as well as past clients.
Great. Thank you so much. Vishal?
My main lead generation sources is, of course, like as the previous two guests they have mentioned, Damien and Alan, is from sphere of influence. So majority of business is coming from sphere of influence. Like either these are the old clients who want to upgrades, or they want to move, they want to sell their property and want to buy new, or the referrals, like because they are happy. If they are happy with my services, they refer me to their relatives, their friends. Hey, we know a very good guy, and you can go and you can talk to him, and that's how I got my major business. But I work with lots of investors as well. So these days, like there are lots and lots of power of sales or bank sales in the market. So, and I have access to all of those, or to most of those, and I refer those to my investor clients, and they are like most of the investors, they are looking for opportunities or flip properties, they jump for that. The third thing which helped me a lot is email marketing and Google ads. Like from there I'm getting lots of leads, but the rate of conversion is not that great. But I can say like 4 to 5% business is coming through Google ads and email marketing. Like if I have a good power of sale property and I sent an big email with the features of those property and mention power of sale, it generates lots of interest. So not necessarily like those guys they will buy that property, but they reach out to me. I know that they are looking to buy, so I can pitch in other properties to them as well. That's how I generate lots of business and lots of leads.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Has John arrived? Do I not see him? Because I can move on. Okay, you know what? I just want to add in, it's so great to hear all of you talk about your sphere of influence. And for you new agents sitting out there, or even agents that have been in business for a while, it's always important to continually add to your database of your personal sphere. And if you're a new agent, you should always start out by trying to put together at least 100 names into your database. And remember, these people can be from anywhere in the world. They don't have to be just from where you are. So if you have relatives in a different state, add them into your database, because you know what? We can sell real estate anywhere in the world, and EXP has showed us how to do that because we are worldwide. But in addition to that, I mean, just this week alone, I sent out 6 referrals. So it is really the power of getting to people to know that you are in real estate, that you're not a secret agent. And Alan, I do like what you said about the 5 conversations. I just will add this in there again, something for newer agents. I do this thing called Strive for 5, and every day I try to do 5 different things, and those 5 different things could be making phone calls, they could be sending text messages, they could be handwritten cards out to people, they could be sending a private message onto Facebook, it could be responding to somebody on Facebook, or sending anybody an email. So don't limit yourself to what you can or cannot do. Okay, so with that, our next question is, let's see, and we'll start with Vishal this time.
Yeah.
What is one marketing tool or strategy that gives you your highest ROI?
My biggest marketing strategy is like when I sponsor an event. any event like I go to, like for example, like I organize Easter hunt or Diwali show or Diwali Mela. I sponsor those events. There's a big turnaround, like almost 800 to 1500 people. Like in some events there comes like 200, 300. In some events, there is a religious occasion, Navratris, and they call like big agents, sorry, big artists from back home India, and they organize those events. I sponsor those events by paying like 2500, 3000, but I get like leads of like almost like 500 to 600 leads in those events. Like I put a raffle draw for some electronic gadgets, and people come and put their name, email, and phone numbers and that. So I generate like a big database of leads from there, and my conversion rate from there is huge. Like I can convert like 20 to 25% of those leads in a year or a year and a half. And good thing is like that database keeps on generating, and I can rely on that database because I have generated lots of business through those leads.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Damien, how about you?
For me, branding myself locally and making myself the expert in not just the city, but in specific locations, as well as participating and starting organizations within real estate for veterans and being part of a board. So it goes back to, and you guys may have heard it over and over again, but it's true, making yourself the mayor of a certain area. You don't have to be the mayor of the whole city where you're at. It can just be a subdivision, or it could be a group. Like for me, I'm in the United States Marine Corps, and I love my veterans. And so starting a group, I didn't start a nonprofit, but I have 4 nonprofits that portions of my commission is going to go to. And the goal is to get $50,000 to these 4 nonprofits groups, and creating this this organization that I call Patriots Promise. And it allowed the community to rally behind me, as well as not social media, but the local news and local nonprofits also to come behind me and help me not only to market myself, but sell myself, because I'm seen as the go-to person within that certain community in order to assist them, to help them grow, but also they're assisting to help me grow. So becoming part and branding yourself locally and very locally to certain communities within your city.
Wonderful, Damien. You know what, Damien, and you know what? I honestly, I always forget that you were a veteran. So thank you again for your service.
Thank you.
I don't know. I just don't. I know you all the time, but I always forget that you were in the service. So again, thank you for that. Okay, Alan, how about you?
Yeah. So my biggest source of business right now is my sphere of influence, followed by actually agent referrals. A lot of agents actually from EXP all over the country. So the things that I'll share with you, number one would be they used to call it Google My Business. Now I think it's just called your Google business page. And it sounds pretty trivial, but it's basically free advertising. And so I would, if you haven't done this, go on today, look it up, Google My Business, and create an account and start getting reviews on there and posting content. So anything you're posting already to Facebook or Instagram, you go ahead and post the same type of content on that Google business page, just like it's social media. So think of it as your third, social media account. So you're constantly putting content out there. And what happens is you kind of go up in the algorithm, the more people are seeing your stuff. The more reviews you have, the more content, the more your name comes up when people search in your area for a realtor. So it's been really rewarding for me. I've gotten lots of phone calls. In fact, I got an email the other day that said you had 27 incoming phone calls through Google. Of course, some of them are just, it's not always leading to business, but there's phone calls coming in. And then because of that, I also have gotten agent referrals from around the country from other EXP agents, because EXP agents are always going to look on either Workplace, which I have my social media built up on Workplace as a San Antonio expert, and they're going to look on Google. And so a lot of EXP agents don't know to look on Workplace, or they forget, and then they just simply will Google, realtor in Wisconsin. And if your name is pulling up, they're going to look at your stuff and find you. So that's been really rewarding to me for as far as marketing. And then the last thing I'll share with you that I do with my sphere of influence, this is something if you guys have heard of Ricky, I'm forgetting his last name right now, out of Alabama, amazing agent at EXP, but he does a newsletter every week. So I took that from him, and I do a constant contact email newsletter every 2 weeks to my sphere of influence. And the return on investment on that has been absolutely huge. The other thing I'll tell you too is if you just send me a DM, I'm happy to give you a copy of what that looks like. But overall, it's been Workplace, Google My Business, and then every 2 weeks, that newsletter that goes out to my sphere of influence.
Ricky Caruth, by the way. Yeah.
Ricky Caruth. Thank you, Damien. Appreciate that. Yeah, okay. Follow Ricky.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I heard a lot of things here. I've heard, doing some kind of activity for your sphere of influence. You really don't realize the impact that you can make when you're doing that. I heard of 2 things this week. One of them was an agent that does bingo bags, and she invites all of her sphere, the women. She gets sponsors to provide really nice handbags, and they play like 10 games of bingo and they win bags. And, just something simple like that people will remember. I also heard somebody talking, I think it was Damien, talking about a worthy cause, how he gives back to the veterans. All of you should have a worthy cause that you give back to. Jim, my husband, who is one of the managing brokers for New York State, we have a worthy cause. Every time we sell a property, we give a portion of our income, and you always have to make sure you say your income and not your commission, to a worthy charity. And we've committed ourselves to raise $10,000 for one of the local hospitals. It just means so much to people to know that you're also giving back to the community. So keep those things in mind. I love Elizabeth Riley. She's amazing. We've had a lot of collaborations. I have this thing called I Love You a Latte, where we go out to a coffee shop. We don't necessarily try to invite our clients. I mean, we do, but it's really not to pick up clients. But I think Alan said it's more to give exposure to who we are, and you sometimes pick up clients along the way. So all of those things, Vishal, you talk about, these amazing events that you put on, and I think people really, really like that. So put that in your notebooks, agents that are out there. Events are a must be. Okay, let's see. How about we start with Alan this time? And Alan, what daily habits have you contributed most to your success?
Yep, I had to turn the mic on. Okay. Yeah. So daily activities, kind of similar to the first question we went over. If you've ever heard of, there's a guy I follow, his name's Andy Frisella. He's a little rough around the edges, but he has a concept that he put out called the Power List. And so it's kind of like a productivity tool. And so every day you write down the 5 most important things that are going to move the ball forward. So of course, step 1 is you need to have a really strong goal, 12 months out, 6 months out, or what you want to have, done by the end of this month, how many sales you want, how many contacts you want. And then from there, you figure out, okay, what's going to get me from A to B today? And you write down those 5, and I think he calls them essential power tasks. And they could be things like I talked about earlier, 5 touches to my past clients, like Damien talked about, setting up my newsletter. Number 3, following up with open house leads. And those 5, if you can be super laser focused, consistent on those 5 activities every single day, you're going to be really, really happy with the type of success that you're getting, because it really is about consistency every single day doing that specific thing. And a lot of us as agents, we make the mistake of chasing shiny things, and we're doing a lot of busy work because there's so many things we can do. But if you get laser focused like that and do that every day, you're going to start seeing some real success in your business.
Wonderful. Damien?
I'm going to almost echo what Alan says. The focus is, and you used the word, I was waiting for somebody to drop it, but it's consistency. And that's just, if you follow your calendar For me personally, it's first thing in the morning. I'm at the gym. I get back home. I hang out with the kids before they go to school, and then I start grinding. And what that grinding is putting my calendar together and then focusing on my calls. And those calls are definitely your past clients. You know, everyone's may have heard about the acronym for it. If you have nothing to say, or it's family, occupation, recreational dreams, right? Those are things you can have a minute conversation on one of those topics and just say hi and bye. Following up with your sphere. And then for me, after that is looking at my social media as in regards to what I need to put out there, doing quick videos. Once again, just planning out the rest of my day on how to be successful and help me plan for the day for my team after that. So a lot of it is consistency. And if you're brand new to the real estate market, the drive and grit that you have to put into it every day, because a lot of people out there think we just make a lot of money and do a lot of nothing. And if I recall today, I was at the gym, I love listening to Tom Ferry, listen to a Tom Ferry podcast every day. I realized, one contract, and I did the math myself early this morning. You're working 21 to 50 hours per contract. It's a lot of work that you're doing, and it shows. I mean, and that grit and that drive is going to show at the end. So stick with it. Consistency.
Wonderful. Vishal?
I think Alan and Damien, they have covered most of the points, but like if I have to split in three, like in my everyday daily activity, those are like setting goals and prioritizing. It's very important, like every morning. Actually, those goals are being set like every night, that what I have to focus on tomorrow. And I have to prioritize those goals. There will be like 10 activities which are important, but out of those, like there are 3 to 5 which are absolutely important that can't be ignored. So it's very important that we decide those goals and we prioritize those. And second thing is time management. Like if we are focusing on one goal, the number one, you can't ignore the other four important and which you have prioritized for that day. So it's very important that you fix that, like all those goals in priority order, and you work on all those by the end of the day. And third one, which I believe, Damian, you mentioned, is consistent tracking of the progress. It's very important that as all of us, we do track of our net worth at the end of the year, if it is increasing or decreasing. It's very important the same way we should track our progress, like a consistent way, that if we are progressing or we are going backward. So these three things, like these, help me moving forward day by day. And I'm trying to stick to these habits. Like every night I set up my goals and priorities. During the daytime, I work on my time management, and I try to fix to work on those goals and as per the priority order. And I consistently track my progress, that where I am and how far I am from my goal.
That's wonderful. You know, many of you can see that there's a commonality amongst these agents that are up here that are ICON agents. And, you know, I do very similar things. I am huge in time blocking, and I don't veer from my schedule when I time block. And it wasn't every morning I research, or I read. I do a lot of reading, and I find an affirmation that I send out to my team. I don't just send it out to my team. I send it out to like 6 different groups of people, some that I coach, some that I'm their mentor. But these 6 groups get my affirmation every morning to help them create a better day. And I used to just send them out, but then my coach told me, you know what, you should actually time block that too, so you don't forget to do it. And I said, well, I won't forget. And one morning I did. And it was funny because one of the agents sent me a private message. Are you okay? We didn't get your affirmation today. So I think time blocking is huge. And I think all of you should make sure that you have, whether, you know, you're old school and you need to write it down, or you have a Google Calendar or whatever, but like really time block when you call people. If you're making 100 phone calls a day, you time block the hours that you're going to be making those phone calls. Everything should be on there, including your eating habits. Okay, people forget about that. I remember back in the day when I first started that I missed my own birthday party because I didn't time block. And now I will never miss another function with my family. It's time blocked. My husband and I eat dinner every night together. I call it a AIS, and that's a ass and seat dinner. And lunch, I take time out for lunch, and breakfast, I do that too. But you have to make sure you time block these things. Okay, wonderful. How about let's go, Damien, we're going to start with this. What is the biggest mindset shift that you had to reach the next level?
Ooh, I can't do it all by myself. I learned that a long time ago, and then it's a long story, but I realized I need to put the people in place where I am definitely spending my most time, and most of my time is spent on social media. A lot of my time is spending on admin work. And I realized that I can't do it all. Going through the amount of transactions that I do now have a small team. I'm working with someone that's really high in social media and AI that's putting an amazing package that I've been working with him on, and it's taking all these separate go high level and all the automations and putting them together in one packet for me, and it's absolutely amazing for such a small fee. So I'm working with him on that. I'm working on an administrative assistant. I'm learning to delegate because I realized about 2 years ago that I was losing business because of my follow through, and my follow through wasn't very strong until I got the right buyer's agent, until I got the administrative person that I needed, until I got the VA team that I have right now. My business has pretty much almost doubled. So putting the right people in the right place and being smart about where you're putting your money in order to help those people grow, and then they grow and you grow. So I've learned to delegate. It's still hard for me because I always feel nobody can do it better than me, but it's working, and you have to put the trust in those people to support you.
I think we all have that feeling, that nobody can do it as well as that we can. But you know what? There are people that we can call the GE. They're good enough, right? And we can train those people to be better agents or better administrative assistants, and so on and so forth. Vishal, how about
Absolutely.
you?
I'm so sorry. And the
sorry.
last thing of that is just to add to it. I may have alluded to it, but systems. Get your systems in place. Anybody have any questions on that, please reach out to me. I'm working on that, and it's amazing. It's working out for me.
Awesome. Vishal, how about you?
Like the biggest mindset, which helps me to come out of to move it to the next level is like to come out from fixed mindset to growth mindset. Like fixed mindset is like I have limited abilities, these are my skills and I can't go from there. And growth mindset, like it believes that abilities can be developed through dedication, effort, constant and consistent learning. So basically that helps all the time. Like if you trust in yourself that abilities can be developed, or you can come out of this from like through consistent and dedicated effort, you should be fine. The other thing is like you always have to come out of from your comfort zone to take bold actions. Like I can give you an example. I joined in the market like when the market was ramping up, and I was easily able to do 18 transactions in my first year, 43 transactions in my second year, and 113 in my third year. So I was in a kind of comfort zone where I was having sphere of influence and I was getting lots of leads and I was doing the transaction. But then comes the market of 2022. So then like I started getting leads. People were like staying behind, and they were taking steps back. So I had to take some bold actions. I never did door knocking at that time. I went out, started door knocking, followed 10-10-20 rule, 10 on left side, 10 on right side, 20 on in front of any of my listing. That yield me good results. So like these two things, that helps uh, big mindset shift to move to the next level. That helped me a lot.
Well, that's awesome. And you're a brave man. I hope you do your door knocking during the summer, because Kitchener does not have very good weather. I'm in
We are in a
Rochester.
snow belt.
I'm
Yeah,
in Rochester, New York, so I'm right across the pond from you, and we have the same weather. And that's the last thing I would think about doing is door knocking, except for when it's nice out.
and
So,
trust
but
me,
that,
it works.
what's
Yeah,
that?
I said, trust me, it works.
Yeah, that's good. It's
And
great to know. And for some agents that are sitting here, they may never think of door knocking as part of their system. That will it work or won't it work? I personally don't door knock. I have door knocked twice, and both times I got a listing and a buyer. And it, like when I think about it, like, why don't I include that in my business? But you have to pick and choose what's going to work best for you.
absolutely.
Alan, how about you?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite categories. So I actually think that mindset is everything. So I know we have varying degrees of experience in here. Some people that are brand new, and some people that are just trying to cap. Some people that are working towards ICON. And what really got things going for me in the beginning was a very, very strong belief. I had a goal that I set, and if you don't have the goals written down, the studies are out there. You probably are not going to really push yourself if there's nothing set in stone that you're aiming for. But the second step that's really crucial with mindset is believing that you can really do it, like genuinely believing that you can, which sounds silly, but if that belief isn't there, you're not going to take the actions every day to do those essential tasks. Because there are going to be a lot of days where you don't want to do things. You're tired, something's going on with family or this or that. You're stressed out. And believe me, the more you get into this, the stress never goes away. You just get better at handling it. So mindset becomes crucial. So like I like to, if I can, I like to start my day with reading something that's personal development oriented so that I can keep that belief and that drive going. The one story that I'll share for me is, about a year ago, I was talking with my coach, which I believe, by the way, everybody should have a coach or some sort of mentor, or at the very bare minimum, an accountability person that you're accountable to, that, every week you're checking in, and you're saying, hey, I set a goal to do this and I did these things. I think that's really, really crucial. But for me, I sat down with my coach, and I really had to understand that it was possible for me to get to the next level. I was a capper for something like 6 years, 7 years straight. I was capped and right around there, and that was pretty good, and I got very comfortable. But when I truly finally started to believe, I really think I can hit ICON. I think I really can do this, and I all of a sudden I got way more driven. And everybody's different. There has to be some sort of why. Why do you want the goal? Because if you don't know why you want it, you're simply you're not going to make it. You've got to have something that drives you. And I know all four of us here on stage, we have something that's driving us to hit these goals. So, find a way to really, really believe, burn the bridges. And the last thing I'll share about this last year, this has been one of the best years of my life in business, was I stopped making excuses. You think about how many excuses we make every day to not do the 4 or 5 things that we talked about, the stuff that everybody said today, you have to do every day and be consistent. But, the reality is you're going to have these moments sometimes where a deal falls apart. It could be just very, very emotionally charged. And it's easy to, kind of be down about that for a day, a week. People sometimes turn that into a month, and I've heard that from other agents, or they just get down, I just had this one deal. So if you have the ability to get back up, not get too high, not get too low, when a deal falls apart or something goes wrong, to just stay consistent, that's truly going to get you to the next level.
Awesome. Great words. Okay, Alan, we're going to continue with you. Can you give one piece of advice that you wish you had received earlier in your career, or maybe something that you could tell a new agent, like, wow, I did this and it was such a waste of time, or I did this and don't do that, or something on that line?
Yeah. Well, first of all, make sure you set aside a little money for taxes.
Okay.
I think I had that happen three times in my career. That's something that I don't think my mentor taught me. But I do mentor agents, and one of the things that I'm seeing in some of our, a new generation of realtors is not really wanting to pick up the phone, especially with current clients or even doing lead gen, getting new business. Because picking up the phone, I think that's made me more money than anything else. Whether it's, trying to convert a client or to, trying to get them into that first buyer consult or getting the listing agreement. But even more importantly, this is a mistake that new agents make, is not picking up the phone, when you're on the other side of the transaction. Let's say you're a buyer agent, and not building rapport with the listing agent to try to get that offer accepted, try to really work for your client. Sometimes, as a buyer agent, we didn't always have the best offer, but I got the offer accepted because I was clearly a professional on the other side of the transaction. And I know anybody who's seasoned in here, when you do a deal, you want to do a deal where there's another professional on the other side. You don't want to do a deal with someone who's going to create drama and create problems, right? And once you have one of those, I know these guys on stage will agree, it can be rough. It's rough on everyone involved, the buyer, the seller, everyone, the lender, title. And so, the listing agent, when a professional calls them and builds that rapport, they're like, hey, you know what? Damien is really fantastic on the phone. That guy seems like a go-getter. Like, I don't want this to be, I want this to be as smooth as I can, because by the way, that's in the best interest of all parties, that we have a smooth transaction. So I would say number one is just pick up the phone. Don't be afraid to have real conversations with people.
Perfect. Vishal?
The one piece of advice, or it's a combination of actually 2-3 factors which a new agent should follow. Number one, I always tell to all my team members that whenever you meet a client or you meet an agent, don't listen to reply them, listen to understand them, or listen to hear them. This is very important, that sometimes the client is saying something but they want to say something else. So don't listen to them to reply instantly. Just try to understand what they are trying to say, not what they are saying. Second, be consistent and reliable. Always, it's not that in your first meeting you are very polite and you are very thorough, and after that you want to be quickly transforming that into a transaction. So you have to have the same personality throughout the transaction so that you are more reliable. Second thing is, you have to focus on long term, and which is very, very important, because in the beginning, most of the agents, they are they want to do some quick transactions, so they try to force client to do the transactions. That destroys your credibility as an agent, and most of the time you lose those transactions. Even with the long term goal, you lose some transactions in the beginning, but you will win long term clients due to this. So these are the 3 factors which makes an agent to stay in this market for very, very long time. That's my opinion.
Great. Damien?
Oh my gosh, I can't just answer with one thing. There is so much.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to spit it out for all of you. This is hard.
No,
I even
it's
looked
not
at the
hard.
questions before and I was like, I can't do this. So Alan mentioned
Same thing here.
This is seriously a 2-hour conversation.
I'm glad. I feel like I've given some great questions to you to answer.
No, you have. I looked at this question like, no, I can't do it. So I'm not going to do it. So here you go.
Okay.
Many of you that are here right now, please take this to heart. Alan mentioned one of the first things, and it cost me $30,000 in my second year because I wasn't smart. I didn't have a business person. I was a salesperson, not a business person. Treat this as a business, ladies and gentlemen, because taxes can kill you. $30,000. I didn't know what I was doing. Next thing you know, the government was after me. 2, get a coach, get a mentor. All right. Find someone out there that's going to help you, that's going to guide you. Everyone needs a coach and or a mentor. Number 3, join a team. If you're brand new, even if your first 2-3 years in business, things are slow, get the guidance and coaching and the mentorship from someone that's already been there, done that. It can be someone in your city, someone in your town, across the country. Take a look at workplace and get into a team or something that's going to be able to help you up your business. Leverage AI. Videos, don't be afraid of the camera. And finally, like I mentioned before, and I'm going to put link eventually in here, your systems matter. Find the systems. I had found one that allows me to do everything together. If it's my Go High Level, if it's social media posting, if it's constant contact, but it's not. I mean, I found a way to do it. And so, guys, hopefully you can rewind this, listen to what I said. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me in Workplace. Or if you are not from eXp Realty, do not hesitate to reach out to me on social media. There you go. Sorry.
Awesome. There's a lot of great things in there, but one of the things that, a couple of you said was that you get a coach or a mentor. I mean, I've been doing this for almost 25 years. I have always had one or two coaches, and one of my coaches is not even in real estate. He's actually a mindset coach, a performance coach for athletes. So, really research that, and but find somebody that you can talk to. Damien, I'm going to let you start with this next question because you kind of touched base on it. AI is all around us and is changing, but how are you currently using AI in your business to improve, maybe like automate it or to improve efficiency? Can you respond on how you're using AI?
I have so much to say about that too.
Go ahead, say it.
But no, I'm not going to take the full stage. I mean, but this can go on for hours. I have someone that I mentioned twice now, probably I'm using to help me scale that. The AI side of things. People always think AI is just, it's prompting, and it is prompting, but people really do not know how to really use it. There's two ways that I've learned to use it in the past 2 years, and one is an example of, ask a question to AI about what are the negative things that, if you're going to a listing appointment that most people want to know. And get those questions, or maybe it's 5 or 10 questions, and let AI figure out what those questions are. And then go ahead and ask AI to go ahead and find solutions for those questions. All right. Number 2, something I did this morning. All right. I'm going to read this out. I have this prompted up here. I'm a real estate broker. Ask me questions one at a time so I can answer each question logically. So so you know me well enough so you can tell me how to reposition my brand, refocus my energies, and the goals of maintaining my relevancy to be top of mind of everyone in the Billings, Montana, to help them buy or sell real estate. Once done with that, create the same prompt for allowing me to be the top realtor another agent would want to come to in order to guide them to be a successful real estate agent with eXp Realty. I took that, I put that prompt in there, and it spit out questions for me to answer after answer after answer. And then it helped me rebrand myself because I was going through, I thought of a small struggle that I was going through, but it answered the questions that I was like, you know what? No, I just need to change this, that, and this. I'll put that prompt in there for you in the chat. But AI is an incredible tool. If you have questions on it, like I said, reach out to me via Workplace. I'm more than happy to help you where I can, but leverage AI any which way you can. A lot of people don't know how to use it. I would highly recommend, I mentioned it before, check out Tom Ferry and a lot of his podcasts. A lot of this information I got from there too. And don't forget, once again, I'm just going to go back to the video. Don't be afraid of the camera. And I can go down that rabbit hole. I won't right now, but there is so much out there that AI can do for you in your business.
Wonderful, wonderful. Alan?
Yeah, Damien brought up a good point too that I've been experimenting with lately. I've got a course that I'm enrolled in right now, and we had a whole day that was focused on AI. And I have to tell you, I think when this was starting to become more popular using these AI tools, I was definitely one of those people that said like, what's the big deal? Like nothing's going to change. Everything is drastically changing. I don't think our role as agents will change a whole lot, but using this as a tool is absolutely huge. So recently I got the Chat GPT, like I guess the pro level, which is still, I guess the price is going to go up eventually. Right now it's pretty reasonable per month. And I'm using it like Damien was talking about. So like you can put in ideas for business plans. I think to get very specific with, like, if you're trying to figure out what your niche is, what type of niche business you want, you can go in there and like you said, prompt it and say, hey, look, I want to, how do I become the best realtor for other realtors out of my state, so that they look at me as the expert, and they'll give you a lot of tools you haven't thought of. So I'd really like that. Also, here's what I'm doing every single day is I'm using it to double check my emails and making sure that my emails sound professional. In my past career, when I was a teacher, I would get critiqued by the principal, and he would say, hey, Alan, you know what? Your emails are a little bit too blunt. You really, and that's just my personality. I'm a nice guy. I just want to deliver information fast and expect people to understand. And so that's something I had to grow through. But now I have ChatGPT. So I'm going to put in my email and I'm going to type it in there, misspellings and all, and say, make this with a warm, cozy, friendly tone, right? And sure enough, it works. The other thing, and this is a game changer for business, for systems, if you're an agent that's doing quite a bit of business and you need to refine your systems, is email templates. So you go in there and you create, let's say you want an email, like if you repeatedly do something in your business, you need to come up with an email template. For instance, a buyer just goes under a contract. They have a million questions for you, like what's next, right? So I always let them know, we're going to send you an email that's going to cover all the next steps, right? So I'm going to go into ChatGPT and start an email, and I'll make it really rough and just say, I want to tell them about earnest and option money. I want to tell them about, how the option period works and inspection, and then we're going to set up an inspection and all this other stuff. And so now I have an email, a buyer under contract email launch template, and I created it in ChatGPT. Then you can go save it in Gmail, or you could save it in Lofty. I think you might be able to do it in KB Core. So the email templates for me has been absolutely huge to send out professional emails. And again, the takeaway for the client is, oh my gosh, they're giving me such good service. They're always setting expectations. There's no surprises. Everything's so smooth. If you have an email template for every one of those steps, you're going to come off as a really, really helpful professional that made them have a great experience that was very smooth.
Wonderful. Vishal?
I think now I am the victim, because I believe Damien and Alan, like, they have covered almost everything which I was going to say. But there are few things which AI definitely can help us to improve the business. Like, for example, the greatest thing which is helping me this time is automated client communication. How, in KV Core, if a client goes and he revisits let's say in a week, 2 days, 3 days, or 4 days, and he have visited a property twice or thrice, it will give me a flag right away and send me a text. So I know that this client is very interested in this property. I can reach out to him, and if he's not working with anybody, I can convert this into a deal. The second thing which I'm using AI in most of the cases is virtual staging. Most of the houses, if they are empty and the client budget is low and they don't want to spend too much on staging, so we can do virtual staging. There are many websites through AI. You can do beautiful virtual staging and put those pictures and write online a disclaimer that all rooms are virtually staged, so that people are not surprised when they're visiting the property. The other thing which we are noticing is language enhancement. Like whenever we are writing description of the property, or listing descriptions, or marketing content, AI can help you make them super rich, colorful, and interesting. And even you can put some fun facts in that, so that your engagement is increased. So all these things, AI have generated a revolution in all those things, for which before you needed some outside help, and now you can do with the click of a finger. The final thing which I'm using AI a lot is about generating material for training and coaching. If there is a topic or there is a big news and you want to prepare some slides, you put that link of that article to AI and ask him to generate some slides and write some conclusion in simple language so that everybody can understand. AI can do a fantastic job, and you can generate PDFs or PPT from those for the team for the training and coaching within a no minute, like within less than a minute, that AI can do. So that's these are the things like which we all are using. Of course, there are many more uses, but these are which we are using our day to day life, and that are helping us big time in real estate.
Awesome. Awesome. Vishal, we'll continue with you. What trends are you currently watching in your particular market?
What trends? What do you mean?
Like what do you see going on in your market right now?
In our market, from May 2022, our interest rates have started cutting down, and we are down to 2%. Like 2% interest rate have been cut over the period from May 2022. Oh, sorry, May 2023. No, I'm sorry, May 2024 till February till March 2025. We have seen that rates have came down 2%. So people's affordability have increased, and there are many programs are announced in Ontario, Canada, to boost like first-time home buyers' purchasing power. The only problem which we are facing right now is consumer confidence index is all-time low. It's very low, and that's because of I can say, like, due to the tariff discussions that Canada gonna hit badly. People are thinking like there could be a very very adverse effect on the market. That's why they are not moving forward, and they are not let's say like they don't want to move ahead and purchase a home or sell a home. Already there are lots of listings in the market. We have 3.5 months worth of inventory in the market. Average days on the market, houses have increased to 37, 38 days. In reality, it takes actually much more than that. So, like, and it's not because people can't afford it. It's because people, like, consumer confidence index, people are scared to proceed towards a transaction due to uncertainty in the market and in geopolitical scenarios going across the world.
Okay, great. Alan, how about you?
Yeah. So relating to the trends thing, I think often you'll have people in your sphere, or if you're at events or you're just kind of out in public, if people know you're a realtor, they'll say, "Hey, how's the market?" And I think having a really good answer to that question is very powerful, because you can basically display yourself as a professional and how you respond to it. Most agents, and this was me for many years, would just go, "Oh, it's a really hot whatever market," or something generic. But a better thing to do is ask the question back. "Hey, that's a really good question. What is it that you're trying to do?" Because it could be that they're thinking about buying a home, or possibly investing, or possibly selling their home. And because one reason that's a good idea is you're engaging with them about real estate, but you could also address what they might be trying to do and show them the pros and cons of what they're trying to do at that moment. And what I mean is, Vishal nailed it. It's hello, sir. Okay.
We have an intruder.
Yeah, that's great. Anyway, so knowing your stats. So, if you go in your market, your board of realtors should have very specific stats on, whether it's a buyer's market, seller's market, neutral market. You need to know those things because you need to come off as a market expert. This is hilarious, by the way. There's a guy right up here dancing. If you're on YouTube, there's a guy with a hat on just dancing with me while I'm speaking, which is great. Okay. You need to know days on market. Okay. Because when you're speaking with a seller or a buyer, the days on market conversation is really, really helpful. If they're thinking about buying, if we know that there's more days on market, then we know then they have more flexibility in what they're trying to do. And then, of course, months of inventory is really, really crucial to know. So I'm going to hand it off to Damien, since we got some square dancing going on here.
A little bit of a distraction right there. I get it. I'm assuming it's the same question. Hello.
Go ahead, Damien. I'm sorry.
No worry. I'm assuming same question.
Yeah, same question.
I like to think Billings, Montana is a different animal outside from everywhere else. Like I would say, for example, if I'm looking to look for expired listings or for sale by owners, our market is not as strong as if it was in Texas or New York or California or anything. And so we wouldn't probably use Red X and or companies like that to get lists because those lists will be so short. So agents like myself is really capitalizing on geo farming, right, and calling subdivisions and calling areas to see who's looking to buy and sell. And when doing that for myself personally, I'm realizing, at least for our market, there's a lot of influx of people moving into Montana because of the political climate and the prices and everything that we have here in Montana, which is it's fairly stable, but with the increasing interest rates and fluctuating interest rates, some people are having a hard time purchasing. And so for our trends here, it's I've been focused on a lot of people, and I would highly recommend it. I mentioned earlier before, just being the local expert and being that mayor and offering on YouTube is videos to tell people what those trends are that I just mentioned, tell people where the best places that they may want to go, and highlight different areas within the city that people might be looking for. If it's somewhere rural, or if it's somewhere more downtown, just highlighting all these cities and giving and letting people know that, hey, this is a great option because this may not be a great option because. And once I started doing that, I was seeing a large intake for myself with people that are relocating and coming to me because they're seeing me as the market expert for that relocation side of things. Hence the reason I'm looking to start a podcast for new construction in a certain area in town, because that's growing. And if I can do that, then people would probably see me as that local expert, come to me for new construction. So that's our trends here.
All right. Alan, you went on this question, correct?
Yeah, I think we just got done with the round.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, that's right. Because that guy dancing on stage got me off track here. So
mixing it up.
In all of your markets, I'm just curious, do you have low inventory or an excessive amount of inventory?
I can go in first, like in this, if you think it's okay.
Yeah.
In Kitchener, in Ontario, we have actually high inventory because of non-buying, because of people's uncertainty in people's mind that like what will happen next. Like we were like people, they were thinking on what will happen on February 2nd, what will happen on March 2nd, and what will happen on April 2nd. Now it's all clear. So I hope that within a week or 10 days, it will normalize and people will start coming out and start buying. But right now, the inventory is high. We have almost like over 3 months worth of inventory in the market. Lots of, actually February was the highest month with very, very high inventory. Like it's a record inventory, and it was 25% more than February 2024.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's not good, but it's something, right? And what economic trends always play a part in real estate, no matter where you are.
I always tell to my buyers, there is no good or bad market. It's either seller's market or buyer's market. This is the buyer's market. Yeah.
Absolutely. Alan, how about you? Do you have an oversaturated market, or do you have low inventory?
So right now we're in what we call a neutral market. We've got 4.6. I think last time I looked, 4.6 months of inventory. It's a neutral market, but oftentimes, like Vishal is saying, it feels like a buyer's market. Okay, and that's the same type of conversation I'm going to have with a buyer and seller. So in this scenario, which is probably very similar for everyone else here, with a seller, what I'm going to talk about is patience. I was like, hey, I'm just going to let you know the average days on market right now is 75 to 90 days. Okay, so one, we need to price it right, and two, just hey, be patient. We're going to do the best we can. And then for buyers to let them know, like, hey, rates might be a little bit higher, but first of all, they just came down, and you have a nice selection of homes that you're not going to be under the gun like you were in 2021 and under pressure to find that home. So there's just a little bit more out there for buyers to make a good decision and buy a home that they actually like, instead of the opposite, where in 2021 we had people settling on homes they didn't like. So hopefully that helps the way we think about that.
Damien, how about you? Are you a flat? Are you a buyers, sellers? What do you have? Low inventory?
Yeah, it's a somewhere in between market. 1,300 agents, only 770 something listings. Tons of buyers coming in. This is the time where real estate agent, if they look at it right, can be very successful with getting listings and buyers. But right now, with the interest rates, the way things are going right now, and the low inventory, it's a tough market here for a lot of agents. Everyone knows that Paredes rule. So, the 20/80 rule. I'm on top, which is great for right now. Well, forever, not right now. But there's a lot of struggling agents out here. There's a lot of homes that I guess some people don't have a lot of pride in their homes, and they're asking a lot for it. But agents like myself are helping get through that with a lot of the people that are coming in. So our market is pretty slow and steady right now, but people are waiting, with what's going on in our economics and political reign that I don't get into, by the way. Everyone's always looking to buy and sell, and I'm just going to be at the forefront of that to help people buy and sell.
I coach a lot of people, and their markets are very similar. We in Rochester, New York, Monroe County, we are in a total seller's market. There hasn't been one property that we've put an offer in from my team that there hasn't been at least a minimum of 7 to 14 offers. We are at an all-time low inventory. So, and we have been for quite a while. We don't even have 350 homes on the market currently. But you know what? Our markets shift, and we have to shift with our markets. And, I don't know if any of you ever read that book, Shift by Dave Jenks. It's a great book to read no matter what market that you're in. And very importantly, to you agents that are newer out there, look at something called the absorption rate. So you understand how many homes sell and how many, months inventory you have. Where I am, it's 72 hours. And so we're still doing delayed negotiations and, delayed showings and delayed negotiations. All right, listen. I can't thank you all enough for being here. I do want to I just want to add one last thing. Damien, he's a little shy, but he does this really awesome thing. And every once in a while, and I said, Damien, we're going to do this together. We're going to film it at the same time. But every once in a while, Damien will go into a store and just pick random people and pay for their groceries. And I think that is such a, to me, it really comes from your heart to show the kind of person you are. I don't know the rest of you very well, but I'm sure you're right there. And I don't know if anybody, you probably have 1 second, because we're going to get booted off the stage, but you probably have 1 second to say one last thing if you want to. So Damien, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm going to say I've said a lot and thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity. Reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm great on Workplace. God bless you guys, and thank you for the opportunity for me to share.
Thank you. Alan?
Yeah, one last thing to share is, just look back at your last 3 months or 6 months and last year and look at what's worked and double down on that every single day. And then same thing, you could find me on Workplace. Happy to help anybody that wants help, and I appreciate everybody being here.
Great. Thank you. Vishal?
I can just say in my closing comments that always, it doesn't matter how the situation is, keep your heads up and always keep working consistently on the things. Always remember, real estate is the same thing like mutual fund. There are ups and downs, but if you see 10-year moving average, you're always making money.
Awesome. And you know what? Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. And as I said earlier, the commonality, any of us are willing to help you out. All you have to do is reach out to us for Workplace Chat, because that's what we're all about, is sharing. All right. Listen, everybody have a great day, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. It's my pleasure.
Thanks for being here, everyone.
It's really my
Thanks,
pleasure.
panelist. Vishal, Alan, thank you.
And thank you all for being here, like the audience.
Thanks, everybody.